Let me see if I can find like something. What the hell? There's so much stuff. Actually, nah. Chat. I'm so glad y'all mentioned that, bro. Yeah, we'll get back to whack. Yo, I love all radio personalities. I never want to speak negative of them, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And this is no indictment on this particular person I'm about to speak about. I do want to just encourage a new wave, and maybe sometimes I feel like people while getting older, like their way of trying to like gain attention is to say unflattering stuff about themselves. I want to stop the pandemic or epidemic of men emasculating themselves with their woman next to them in some hope of appeasing said woman, and also in some hope of trying to quote unquote help other people. Will Smith, if you were a fucking cuck, we don't need to know about it. You weren't helping nobody. You're just making us feel bad for you. You get what I mean? These days, we're hearing way too much info about married people that, like, if y'all happy, don't tell us. Just keep it in y'all marriage, especially if y'all shitting some weird shit. That's especially the case with, like, Will Smith and them. If y'all was really happy with the weird shit y'all was doing, y'all wouldn't be telling the world. And then telling the world to make one or the other look crazy. Y'all just kept it in house. But these days, I'm wondering why the fuck everybody married want to let everybody know what the fuck going on in their marriage. I was actually surprised by this one. Because this is the guy who I fuck with so much. DJ Envy. DJ Envy, 1/3 of the Breakfast Club. I see him on the motherfucking on Shade Room. I'm like, oh, what's up with him? You know what I mean? He got car shows and shit like that. I like a lot of stuff he got going on. But I couldn't believe what the fuck I was seeing. And I was just wondering, why the fuck? Like, sometimes you got to wonder, why are we seeing this? So, let me, this is so confusing to me. So, I need y'all to help me make sense of this. Let me scroll down. Let me just scroll down. This is, okay. DJ Envy and his wife step into the Shade Room to talk cheating and faking it in the bedroom and more. Now in this clip that I'm going to play, this is DJ Envy and his wife is basically saying, well, let me just play this shit, bro. I can't even explain this. I don't know what's going on.
So many women can relate. Like, you want to reward that man for that work, and the only reward that you have to offer is an orgasm. But even if I didn't feel it, I would still be performative. So yes, I was faking it.
We got into like a argument, and then she was like, well, I don't be having an orgasm. She didn't say it in that. She speaks way more eloquent than I would have. And I was like, what? And she was like, I don't. I'm like, no, yes, you do. I hear it. Like, yeah, and then she was like, no, I'm faking it. I'm like, every time? And she was like, yeah. And then that just crushed me because I thought I was putting in work. Like, I'm sitting there thinking I'm, Big Daddy Long Leg.
And I'm sure so many women can relate. Like, you want to
did an interview with the Shade Room, and the Shade Room, of course, only posted a part of the interview, and this is the part that they
said,
posted.
Of course, I'm sure so many women can relate. Like, you want to reward that man for that work, and the only reward that you have to offer is an orgasm. But even if I didn't feel it, I would still be performative. So yes, I was faking it. We got into like a argument, and then she was like, well, I don't be having an orgasm. And I was like, what? And she was like, I don't. I'm like, no, yes, you do. I hear it. Like, yeah, and then she was like, no, I'm faking it. I'm like, every time? And she was like, yeah. And then that just crushed me because I thought I was putting in work. Like, I'm sitting there thinking I'm, Big Daddy Long Leg.
Big Daddy Long Leg.
I thought I was Mandingo.
Even if you are Big Daddy Long Leg, that don't mean that you're doing it right. Okay.
All right. So let's open up the phone line.
You ain't working that middle just because you Big Daddy Long Leg. You got to know what you're doing down there.
585-1051. We're asking ladies, have you ever faked an orgasm? And if you did, why? When me and my wife wrote this book, I found out years ago that she was faking orgasms. So pretty much our first 10 years of our relationship.
She absolutely goes into it in more depth on lip service
Yes.
while you were not in the room.
Hey. God bless the Casey family. One thing I admire about DJ Envy is that I think he's a workaholic just like myself. He gets to the bag. You know, he's a provider. You know, he likes nice things and he likes giving his loved ones nice things, so he works very hard. But you know, and again, I don't want to just concentrate on him because you know people get funny about their wife. So I'll just say in general about these relationships that we never knew about. I have zero idea, and I'll tell you how I move, right? Like, if you're the breadwinner and your wife not a public figure, why you got your wife over here or your girl over here sitting up saying shit that's gonna make you look crazy? That's the only thing I'm saying. Just like if it was vice versa. If my wife was a breadwinner, put like this. If Nicki Minaj, who is a breadwinner, Big Zoo shouldn't be coming out saying nothing to make Nicki look crazy. But these days, I feel like it's normalized for like Jada. I'm not saying Jada don't make her own money or whatever the case is, but Jada coming out making Will look like a herb, like a sucker. Then I'm hearing this and I'm like, damn, yo, Envy, we ain't even need to know that about you, bro. Like, this is some shit that like we ain't even had to know. Like, this is you supposed to like deal with this shit behind closed doors. Like, what the fuck going on? Like, I don't know why people like it's difficult for me because like I fuck with Envy enough where I don't want to say nothing about his like relationship that he could take wrong, but he's inviting us to kind of say the shit. You know what I mean? Like, because nobody should have known this. That's my own thing. Why the fuck we even know this? You get me? Like, I just can't understand. And we would think it's the younger people who are doing this. It's older motherfuckers who've been married for long ass times now coming out with these stories that nobody ever asked to hear. Nigga, we were rapping about Will and Jada relationship. Bitch, we ain't had to hear the full thing about y'all relationship. That you was a cuck and you was getting entangled and donkey fucked by whoever R&B singer. You could have kept that down low. Same thing I'm looking at here. I'm like, yo, man, I've watched Envy since I was a child. I remember watching Envy when Envy allegedly cheated on his wife. And Envy was on the radio, emotional as hell. And again, I give him credit for that. But bringing your wife to tell people that you wasn't fucking her right, like, bruh, like, why are we doing this? I don't get why we doing this. I just don't get it. I don't know what it is. Because I don't see no younger couples doing that shit. It's only older couples doing it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it kind of puts it kind of helps me, not helps me. It makes me realize like that marriage shit is a sham. Because the people who married talking about faking it, talking about their partner can't satisfy. Yo, that's what Jada said about Will. Jada said we had to come to the realization that this nigga can't satisfy me. Yo, what type of shit is that? Somebody said they're selling a book. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I just feel like there's different ways to sell a book, bro. I don't know. I'm not, I'm not getting down on them, but like, that's not my way how to sell a book, bro. And maybe I'm looking at it from a different lens. I'm gonna tell you why. This is why I'm gonna honestly tell you why. Because you could never flip this in reverse. And this is why I feel bad for the men. If Will was the person who sat up there and said, Jada just wasn't doing it no more, I needed a young white bitch who had that wet that I had to go get entangled with, bro, they would call Will a fucking, like, scum of the earth. Imagine if DJ Envy was supposed to say, yo, I ain't gonna lie, man, my wife, like, after having a couple kids, my wife just wasn't tight enough. I had to go get a chick with that vice grip. Bro, they would chew this nigga out. But when it comes to dudes, they can say anything about you. Oh, yeah, he couldn't make her come. He couldn't satisfy. Like, dudes were always up for criticism. But those critiques can never, ever be equal. You know what I mean? like, I don't want to make this nothing about him because I know he can get a little personal about shit like that. So I'll say to me, I'll say use my or make up a situation about me. Imagine a girl saying like, yeah, I think academics can make me come. That's acceptable if they say it in public, right? Now, what about if I respond by saying, yeah, I couldn't make you come because that pussy was dry. That shit was worn out. You got 500,000 miles on that bitch. I can't do nothing with it. You know what they would say? Look at this guy. He's a scum. You know, we hate a nigga for saying some shit like that. Imagine if a nigga kept it real and be like, yo, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Bro, I stopped fucking my chick because that pussy just ain't it. I'm tired of that pussy. That pussy just ain't wet enough for a nigga like me. Men, we gotta take every type of fucking criticism. Your dick small, you can't make her come. You don't last long enough. You don't eat pussy good enough. You don't eat pussy at all. You gotta take all type of shit where women are describing you that you ain't shit, but you can't respond by saying, I ain't gonna lie, maybe I would fuck you a little longer. Or maybe I wouldn't have to always, jerk off behind your back if your pussy was a little bit tighter. You know what I mean? Like, what? You can't even say that. You can't even say that. Maybe I didn't have to cheat if your pussy was a little bit better, but holy. You're done. So that's why I feel bad. And by the way, I know Envy's selling the book, so he probably don't want nobody to feel bad for him, but it's just like, bro, why men always look so pathetic when it comes to shit like that? It's what the dude can't do. Someone said accurate bowcat. Yo, bad man on there and pussy no dog, man. I keep it real with you, You know what I mean? Everything there. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. This is where me and DJ Envy going differ. Your bitch tell me I ain't making a comment. Yo, I ain't gonna. Yo, here's another thing too. This is my. You see, I'm not no marriage, so I would just keep it 1,000. See, he married to a shorty, so he gotta appease her and shit like that. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. The bitch tell me I can't make her come. I'm gonna tell that bitch about, yo, I used to be with some Egyptian bitch. She used to come 20 times during sex. She was just mad sensitive. Her body was just naturally inclined to come more. She was super sensitive. If you fucking her and you hit certain, it would automatic happen. There's some of these bitches, they either ran through or they just don't. They was never born with that fucking spot that they could come. Bitch, that ain't me. That's you, nigga. Nigga, that's you. You ain't gonna shame me. I'm finna shame you. Your pussy, there's something, your pussy wasn't built right. Because I've been with a chick who come all the time. The fuck this guy do with me? But like this, I've never blamed a bitch yo, she couldn't make me come. Nigga, if I'm fucking you and you ain't make me come, I pull my dick out and I jerk off and I bust right in your face. That's it. Good sex, I'm out of here. I ain't got time for that shit. With these chicks, you gotta coddle them, you gotta coddle their feelings and shit. I'm like, what are we doing? The dude's looking crazy. I don't know, man. Somebody said Clubhouse talking about you. What are they talking about? What is Clubhouse talking about? Clubhouse always